Right, so this is part 2 where I'm going to show you how you can do your stitch and seam details on a technical flat. We should have already done the outline in part 1, so we should have our pen tool already out and our reflect tool ready. So now I'm going to change the size, well, the width of the stroke to 0.5 because this is for a seam detail. It doesn't want to be as big as the outline detail. So I'm just going to select my pen tool again and just check that my stroke is on black, which it is, and then I'm going to click and click, and obviously that's quite straight for a seam, so I'm going to take my little arrow tool, I'm just going to zoom out because it makes it easier, and add a little curve around the bust. Okay, so if we zoom in, we can see that we now have a bust curve, a curve seam popped in there. So I'm quite happy with that. So now I want to copy that, so I select it using my arrow and then I click on reflect, and again I click copy. I don't click OK because if I clicked OK that would just flip the existing one and I want a second one. So now I'm going to just use my arrow keys to pop this into place. And I think that's right. Let me just click on my arrow to have a look. Yep, that looks pretty symmetrical to me. So now I'm going to have a look and see what this looks like without the template. So I go over to my layer panel and I just click on the little eye and it makes that invisible. So I can see that I've got the beginning of a bodice here with 2 vertical seams. It's very simple and straightforward, but you would generally make it more complex as your design developments progress. So now I want to add a stitch detail, so I go back to my appearance and click on stroke, and I want to set this to 0.3 for a stitch. That's just my personal preference. You can put it on 0.2 or whatever you prefer. And I want to make it a dashed line, and this tends to default to 12 point, which would make it quite a long dash line. So I'm just going to go through and put 2's in there so that it's nice and fluid. So now I'm going to go down to my hem. I'm going to click on my pen tool and I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to make sure that it's a straight line by making sure that the green lines up, because can you see if I go further up the green stops, so that's how you know that it's lined up. So there we go. And again I'm just going to remove the visibility of the template so you can see that better, and there we have a stitch line. So I'm just going to highlight this and check that it's still on round cap, which it is, yeah, so that's fine. If we wanted a more sort of harsh stitch line, you could change it to butt cap, and I don't know if you can really see the difference, but let's just have a look. So that's it on a butt cap. It's very flat at the edges, and this is it on a round cap. There's not a lot of difference, but I just think the stitch lines look a bit nicer with the round cap. So now I might add a stitch line around the neckline. So again, because they can be quite tricky, I'm just going to see if it should do it on the second layer, but sometimes if it likes to catch, you might want to do it on another layer. So I'm just going to get my tool and level that up. And let's have a look at that. Right, so that's my stitch line around my neckline and my hem. So, and at any time if you want to put the template back, you can just toggle the visibility of that, but obviously when you save these or when you print them out, they should be without a template unless your tutor specifically asks them to be on a template. It's not really often that they do that. It should just be a bodice. So now I would go on to creating the bottom part to my design development, or I could go and create the back. So if I wanted to just make sure that I had a area that was the same, I would click on this, and because I've done it on a different layer, I can now lock layer 3, and none of these vertical seams or stitches will be transferred, only the original outside shape, which is this. And I'm going to click Control and C, so I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to click Control and V, and there it is. So that's my back section, the same dimensions as my original front, but obviously the back neck would be different and the back seams would be different. So now I have different parts that I can begin working on. So let me just toggle that, and I would then add my neckline as I wanted, add any details that I wanted, like if I wanted darts in, I could put darts in, and then I could put my stitch lines on, and that would be my first design development or my first technical flat. So there you go. And if there's anything else that you want me to demonstrate or any questions, just leave me a comment, or you can pop me a private message on my label page that the template is stored on Facebook, or whatever, really. Just let me know. Okay,